Good morning, everyone. Boker Tov. We're continuing with Siman Reish Mem Tet regarding different mitzvot that come up on Erev Shabbat and to make seudot for those occasions. So it's brought here in Halacha. The Biur Halacha is, let's say a person makes a Siyum Masechet on a Friday. Can you make a seudah on a Friday? And that's not a regular seudah the person has every day. So, of course, we mean seudah with bread, like a whole thing. So, if the poskim say, or David Yosef writes in Halacha Brura, that if, let's say, it's your regular daf yomi, and then it finishes on that day, it finishes on a Friday, okay, then there's you could be lenient and make the seudah on that day, as opposed to it finished on a different day and you dafka want to make it on a Friday. That no. Now, also when it comes to Brit Milah, we said Brit Milah and Pidyon Haben on a Friday, then yes, you have a seudah, etc. Even if the Brit Milah, let's say the kid was sick and it was pushed off, etc., and now it was done on a Friday, still the mitzvah is that day, because we always want to do it the earliest time possible. And okay, the earliest time possible happened to be that Friday, so it is allowed, and so to the seudah, and so to by Pidyon Haben. Pidyon Haben, even though it's from day 31 and on, we always want to try to do things as fast as possible. So if, let's say, it was pushed off for whatever reason, now the earliest possible is that Friday. So there as well, it's a seudah that you're allowed to have on Erev Shabbat. Also, an interesting case, we shouldn't be accustomed to this, but if, let's say, a person passes away, and we know that there's this seudat havra'ah, when a person passes away, after the funeral, the family goes home and they should have bread and egg and water, and they say special birkat hamazon, and then they move on. So that's seudat havra'ah. If, let's say, a person was passed away on a Friday, got buried on a Friday, and now it's close to Shabbat, so the Ben Ish Chai writes that if Rav Ovadia Yosef writes that if it's after the 9th hour, then not to have that seudah. That seudah is not a halacha, but it's rather a minhag. It's not an obligation. It's only minhag. So therefore, if it's after the 9th hour on a Friday, not to have that seudah. If it's earlier than the 9th hour, then yes, to have that seudah. Last point is, in all of these cases, we want to try, even if cases that you're allowed to have the, let's see, the Brit Milah. In all these cases, yes, you're allowed to have the seudah on a Friday, but in all cases, number one, before the 9th hour, and ideally, if you can, before chatzot, before midday as well. And in all cases, again, to make sure that you want to check yourself, that you're not eating too much, so that when you come into Shabbat, you're going to come with the proper preparation, the proper will to eat the Shabbat meal. Okay, that's that for today. Mincha tonight at 6:50. Have a good day, everyone.